Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be having a look at this pedal set by Conspit. These are the Conspit cpp.lite. Now this is a pedal set with a difference. The brake on this pedal set is fully hydraulic and each of the pedals has a built-in rumble motor. But before we dive in, the necessary disclaimer, Conspit sent me these pedals for free, so I didn't pay for them, although they don't see this video before you do, and they've got no input in relation to what I say. And as usual, I will say that I am not a product reviewer. That's not what I do. What I am though is a sim racer, exactly the same as you, and that's the opinion that you're going to get. Now, when I'm looking at products, there's only 4 things that I'm interested in. I'm not going to be taking these things to pieces. There's only 4 things that matter to me. Firstly, how do they look? If they don't look right, well, I'm not going to buy them. Secondly, what's the build quality like? Thirdly, how do they perform? And finally, are they value for money? So let's talk about the pedals first of all. So it's a 3 pedal set that we're looking at today. All metal construction apart from this top pedal plate. Underneath is metal, the top is plastic. The accelerator and clutch use Hall sensors and the brake is completely hydraulic. And we do obviously have these motors on the back here to give you some haptic feedback. Now, an example of the use is you might have traction control set up on the accelerator, so when that kicks in the simulator, you get a rumble. Same with the brake, maybe ABS, traction loss, and the clutch. Well, when you change gear, press the clutch, well, you get a rumble through the clutch pedal. So let's look at the pedals themselves. So there's not a great deal of adjustability on these pedals. We can adjust the angle of the foot plate there, forward and backwards. And there's also 4 holes on the side of the accelerator and the brake. Now this can be moved and it will change how the pedal feels. So they say the bottom one is for like a street car, going progressively harder the further up you get towards an open wheeler Formula 1 car, same on the accelerator and brake. But I've had these set up as a GT car and they felt absolutely fine. And the only other adjuster on the accelerator is for preload for the spring. Same with the brake, we've got the 4 holes to raise and lower the angle of the piston that goes onto the pedal. And we've also got one other adjustment, which is this. This is the preload. Now this not only adjusts how stiff the pedal is, but also how much travel. With this wound out, you get quite a bit of pedal travel. You wind it in, or I wound it in finger tight, and it probably halved the amount of pedal travel. And for me to get to 100% braking where I felt comfortable, it was around about 80 bar. But you can make these pretty much as stiff or as soft as you like. Now Conspit do give you a little tool that's included with the pedals, so you can make some adjustments, but I found that doing it finger tight was plenty. So as I mentioned earlier on, these are all metal construction apart from this top cover. But Conspit say that they are going to offer an add-on. So if you wanted to purchase a metal plate cover, you can do so, but the plastic one is absolutely fine. I'll give you a quick look underneath the pedals. I'm trying not to scratch this because if I do, I'll be a dead man. So on here we have the main board for the pedals. These 3 underneath there, that is the pedals plugged in. These ones on the right hand side are for the haptic motors on the pedals themselves. So this part here is metal, that's solid. It's just all this that is plastic. But as I mentioned, that doesn't really matter to me. The plastic cover's absolutely fine. So firstly, we'll talk about looks. I think they are an absolutely brilliant looking pedal set. I really do. I love the colours, the purple and black. I'm not a fan of these, but I'm not a fan of these on any pedals. You know, they're a bit bulky on the back, but you can't see them when you're on your rig. Build quality, absolutely brilliant. Like really good. I've got no complaints at all in the build quality. Not a mark on them. Perfect. Now we'll talk about performance. Now, the last couple of races that you've seen on my YouTube channel, I've been using these pedals. And in both of those races, first in the Porsche Cup car at Belle Isle, which I think is a great test for any pedal set, I was on pace, a couple of tenths off the race winner's best lap. And then for the second race, I upped the preload and jumped in the GT3s at Road America. Again, on the pace, top 5 in a 4.1k strength of field race. So these pedals certainly didn't make me any slower. The accelerator, really nice and smooth and progressive. The brake was brilliant. It took a little bit of time getting used to, because I'm used to like a 2-stage braking, which I've been using with the SimLab pedals, but this is completely linear. But really nice. When you get used to it, really nice and smooth. I was able to trail brake, bleed off really easily. I thought the brake was super smooth. The clutch, well, it's a clutch, you don't really need to say too much about a clutch. Really nice and smooth, and there is a definite step in the clutch when you press it, so it does feel a bit like a clutch. I thought the haptic feedback worked really well. I wasn't a fan of it on the accelerator. I found that a little bit distracting with the TC kicking in, but the brake, that could be useful. I probably wouldn't run any haptics or rumble motors on my pedals. It's just not something that I would do. But I could see the use. I could see somebody finding that useful. And I disabled it on the clutch because that, for me, was just annoying. But definitely on the brake, useful. Now, one of the party tricks that this pedal set has is the launch control built into the software. Now, I did a video about this a couple of days ago, just comparing the different launch modes, launch control, my foot, dual clutch, and the launch control was much, much quicker. And people probably thought that the software was just working it all out and doing it by itself, but that's not the case. You still got to set up certain parameters within the software. What the initial bite point is, what point that it releases, how many milliseconds that it transitions for. So it doesn't do it all automatically. And I thought I would test the software again just to see if I could get anywhere near the launch control. So this is the Conspit software. So this is the home page. On here, featured products on there, pedals, rig and all that kind of stuff. We've got the pedals connected on there. Click on the pedals and you can adjust each one individually by clicking on the corresponding pedals. This is where you calibrate them as well. So you click the throttle and then you would hold it at the maximum, press max, leave it there for a couple of seconds. That's calibrated. Do the same at minimum. Just foot off the pedal, press min, and then leave it for a couple of seconds. And that then is calibrated. Do exactly the same with the brake and the clutch. Now at the top here, we have got accessory setting. This is the rumble motors. Now you've got 3 channels underneath the pedals where the wires plug into. So this is where you set up your vibrations now. So you click on channel 3, this is the accelerator, and you can tell the software what you actually want to feel. So if you wanted to feel traction control, press TC, and every time you press the pedal there in the sim, when you engage the TC, you'll feel about vibration. Channel 1, here I've got that set to ABS, so whenever I hit the ABS in the sim, I will feel some vibration. And the clutch, so whenever you change gear and use the clutch, you can actually feel that when you release the pedal. This is the launch control part of the software. This is probably gonna wind everybody up. So launch control, it's not as sophisticated as you might think. You still have to set it up, no different to how you would set up a dual clutch really. You've got your initial point, your bite point, durations. So here, when you release the clutch, it will go to 50% and then drop to 42% after, well, a second basically. So it's a second between 50% and 42%, then it will release completely. And then you set a hotkey down here on your wheel, button box, whatever. So whenever you press that, that engages the launch control. On here, this import config, that should say save. When you click that, it saves it. So that's not import. And then the rest of it, you just got the plugins there, and there's not much in there apart from launching your simulator. So the software, quite straightforward, but pretty decent. It's got everything on there that you would want regarding custom curves and all that kind of stuff. So all works really well. Right, so we've got the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour timer right in front of us, but I've also set up a custom sector down the road a little way just to simulate a run down into turn number 1. Now, I did this test a few days ago, and the slowest was where you hold the brake, put it in first, accelerate, then release the brake. So that's the one that we're going to do first. And somebody says, well, let's do a few of them, and then we can see if there's a difference. So we're going to do 2 or 3 runs with each method. So we'll hold the brake, we're going to put it in first gear, and then I'm going to accelerate, and then I'm just going to release the brake. And we're going to change gear as soon as the RPM lights turn blue on every single one. So 3.42 to 100 kilometers an hour, 10.443 for the custom sector. Let's restart that. We can do better. I didn't change gear when it turned blue every time. So we'll reset the car. We're going to hold the brake, first gear. We're going to accelerate, and then we're going to release the brake. So keep an eye on the RPM lights. As soon as they turn blue, pretty similar to 0 to 100. So 10.443, 10.427. .32, tiny bit quicker I think there. 10.452. .430. Very, very similar. Last one. .429. So that was slightly slower than the best. 2/1000th of a second. Right, that's with the foot on the brake technique. Right, reset the car. And we'll go for the dual clutch next. So I've got the dual clutch on the wheel. Left paddle in, right paddle in. You can see on the telemetry at the bottom. Left paddle, right paddle. So we're going to pull both in, first gear, accelerate, and then release the right paddle. Then slowly release the second paddle. Again, we're going to change gear when it turns blue. So pretty similar to 100. 10.456. That's slower. Try again. We can obviously do better than that, I think. Pretty similar to the other technique. A little bit quicker, I think. So 10.370. So what's that, half a tenth? Try again. A little bit quicker again. 10.353. We'll do one more. It's all about how you release the clutch. This is slower, this one. So 10.353 was the best with the dual clutch. Right. We'll try my left foot now. You can see there. Pretty darn quick to 100. So 10.353 was our best. 10.257. So my left foot's quicker than the dual clutch and the easy technique. Let's try that again though. Wheel spin there, see, not very consistent. Still not bad to 100 though. And we're not a million miles off, even though we did get a little bit of wheel spin. So yeah, half a tenth slower there. Try again. This is where things get tricky because we're inconsistent as human beings, so try again. That felt decent. 3.02. Yeah, much quicker. 10.184. So there's a big difference in the times here. We're going to do one more with the foot. First gear. That felt good. Similar time to 100 kilometers an hour. 10.135. So that's our best yet with the left foot. Right, let's try Conspit launch control. I don't think it's going to beat that. So, clutch in, press the launch control button which I've got set up on the steering wheel, first gear. Accelerate, we're just going to dump the clutch. No, slower. A tenth slower. 10.135, 10.278. Try again. Press the button for the launch control, first gear, accelerate, dump the clutch. No, again, slower. .278, 10.281. So pretty consistent though. .270. Try and release the clutch super fast. That wasn't really super fast, was it? That was really slow, in fact. Pretty similar. One more. Clutch in, first gear. Press the button. Here we go. Nah, I can't get anywhere near the time that I set with my left foot. I want to try that again. But very, very consistent with the launch control. That's what you're getting, I guess. I'm going to try my left foot again. Yeah. My left foot's quicker. My left foot is quicker than the launch control. When I get it right. Yeah. My left foot's quicker than the launch control when I get it right. But a little bit inconsistent. So as you saw there, I was actually quicker with my left foot, although I wasn't consistent every single time. With the launch control, you know you're going to get that launch every time. Yes, it was a tiny bit slower than doing it with my left foot, and I could probably set up the launch control and the dual clutch a bit better, but you get the general idea. If your left foot is a good one, well, you're going to be as quick with that. I don't think this gives you that much of an advantage. I just think you're going to be consistent every single time. And to be honest, I wouldn't use it. I'm not a fan of any of the hacks that you see in sim racing, such as capping your braking to 80, 90%, so you can't brake any more than that, so you'll never lock up the tyres. I've never done that. I would never do that. I've tried it, but I would never do that in a race. The same with this. I want to use the tools that are available to me in the real car. I don't want anything extra. Just like I don't think I would use a dual clutch in a car on iRacing that doesn't have one. But there's nothing illegal about this launch control system on iRacing anyway. iRacing have said, I believe, that it's completely legal. And I can't see why it wouldn't be. You've still got to set things up manually. It doesn't just work it all out itself. But nevertheless, I wouldn't use it personally. Now, to summarize performance, I thought they were fantastic, to be honest. And a good indicator that you've got a decent pedal set is when you're racing, you don't think about the pedals. And I didn't. When I was racing with these, I wasn't thinking about the pedals. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a new pedal set. They just felt natural, felt really good. So in my book, if I'm not thinking about the pedals, they must be pretty decent. Now, onto price. A lot of people are saying that you're going to pay to win. These are going to cost thousands. Well, actually, for a 3-pedal set, for this 3-pedal set with a plastic cover, 3-pedal set, 599 euros, I think it is, or dollars, 599 anyway. And it's going to be probably around $100, 100 euros less if you just bought a 2-pedal set. Obviously, you'd be able to upgrade this pedal cover if you wanted to, which would put the price up a little bit more. And that price is probably with taxes on top and shipping. But $599 for a 3-pedal set that feels this good with this level of features, I think is pretty good value. I know it's not cheap. Let's be realistic. $599 in any currency, dollars, pounds, euros. It's expensive, but that's where a good set of pedals sits right now. And I've got to tell you, these are a good set of pedals. I would quite happily have these on my rig and race with these. Would I recommend them to you? Yes, I would. I would recommend them. If you're after a hydraulic pedal set, if you want something a bit softer, a bit more travel, these would be brilliant. If you want them a bit stiffer, wind up the preload. The pedal's pretty much rock solid when you wind it right in. Everything's nice and smooth, accelerator's smooth, clutch is smooth, software's pretty good. You can set up your curves for your accelerator, brake and clutch. Got the haptics, got the launch control, it's got the little overlays built in. Pretty impressive for a pedal set that's costing less than $600, euros, pounds. So looks wise, I think they look really good. Build quality is brilliant. They performed excellently. Top split on iRacing, I was able to match my own pace really. I don't think I would have been much quicker with the pedal sets that I've been using. And price, I think they are great value for money for what you're getting, but don't get hung up on the launch control. These aren't cheaty pedals. You've still got to do all the work and set things up in the background. And you don't even have to use the launch control. But these pedals get a massive thumbs up from me. Now, I'm not affiliated in any way, shape or form with Conspit. There's no affiliate links. There's no kickbacks to me. I'm just giving you my opinion on this set of pedals. So if you like them, buy them. If you don't like them, don't buy them. It really doesn't matter to me at all. But hopefully this is of some use to some of you out there. Obviously, do your due diligence, go and watch some other videos. But for me, a sim racer's perspective, I'm a racer just like you. Well, I would use these, no problem. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.